Hey, how's it going, guys? So this is going to be my Monday Night Football showdown video for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to be talking about the players and some of the guys that I think are going to be low owned and going to be able to tap into the ceiling for their projections. We're also going to take a quick look at our first place finish of the season so far for Showdown. We took down the top prize for the Daily Dollar tournament for Sunday Night Football between the Ravens and the Bengals. So we'll take a quick peek at that, see the lineup that won us the top prize there. So let's go ahead and take a look and jump into it. So, taking a quick look at the first place finish that we had for Sunday Night Football, 109 points got us there for the first place finish. As you can see, Duvernay was the guy that got us there with the captain spot. Only 7.5% of the field had him in the captain spot, so really outplayed the field at that point. Justin Tucker with a huge game with the 50-plus yard field goal and a lot of volume there in field goal game with the extra point. Really happy. Luckily, we only shared top prize with one other player, so we still took down a pretty good portion of the top prize. It's not 250, but we're still doing pretty good. So I'm happy about that. Finally got the first one under our belt for the season. So let's see if we can do it again for Monday Night Football. All right, so we got this matchup between the Raiders and the Chiefs. Top guy is going to be Patrick Mahomes in that Kansas City Chiefs offense at $1,800 for the captain spot. He's only tapped into the ceiling one time this season so far. At 37.9 fantasy points in week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals when they just completely curb stomped them to open up the season. Faced a tough matchup with the Tampa Bay Bucks defense. Came out with the win with only 24.36 fantasy points. Las Vegas Raiders aren't exactly at the level that the Tampa Bay Bucks defense is, in my opinion. Whether or not he'll be the optimal captain remains to be seen. Next guy on the price point list is going to be Devontae Adams at $1,700 for salary. I mean, he's getting massive volume so far this season, getting double-digit targets in all but 1 week so far. 33.1 fantasy points, 14.2, 22.5, and the 1 week where he didn't get double-digit targets, only saw 2, but got into the end zone to save his fantasy day at 9.2 in week 2 against Arizona. So Devontae Adams still probably going to end up getting double-digit targets in this matchup against Kansas City, but we'll see if Derek Carr is going to be efficient enough to get him the ball on those double-digit targets that he's been demanding so far. The next guy is going to be Travis Kelce, the favorite target of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's clearly the best tight end in fantasy football today. One of maybe 3 or 4 tight ends that can get you 15-plus fantasy points week in and week out. Travis Kelce's still been a monster even at his age right now. Got 10 targets with 9 receptions last week against Tampa Bay. Again, he would probably end up being the optimal captain in this lineup. Whether or not we'll go with him, we'll wait and see in this lineup build. But Travis Kelce, not much explanation needed there. The alpha dog in that pass-catching group for Kansas City. And then we come to Derek Carr at $15,300. Still has the volume in the passing game to put up big fantasy numbers. Just hasn't come to fruition so far this season. It's only been scoring more than 20 fantasy points once this season against Tennessee, who's pretty weak on defense so far, with Josh Jacobs being a lot more efficient running the ball this season. So with that being said, and the game plan may end up being, short passes with Josh Jacobs with heavy volume to try and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. So we may end up going with the Josh Jacobs um, captain lineup here, but with Derek Carr at 34 attempts, 44 attempts, 39, still has enough attempts where he can garner a pretty good fantasy day if he's efficient enough. So whether or not it's going to be this lineup or others that I build for tomorrow night, he's definitely playable at that captain's position. And then, as I mentioned, Josh Jacobs, depending on game script, I think it's going to be fairly probable that he's going to see a lot of volume tomorrow against that Kansas City Chiefs defense, trying to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field as much as possible, chew out the clock. At 13,200 in the captain spot, having a massive day against the Denver Broncos last week. 144 yards rushing on 28 attempts with 2 touchdowns, and saw a lot of work in the passing game as well. Whether or not that's due to the absence of Hunter Renfrow being out, I'm not sure, but one thing to note is Hunter Renfrow is making his return this week at $8,700. So whether or not he'll be taking those targets back from Josh Jacobs or not, we will see. So again, Hunter Renfrow at $8,700 in the captain spot could be a viable option as well if you think the Raiders will be able to keep up with that high-powered offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. So to start us off with this lineup here, we're going to start off with Travis Kelce in the captain spot, just because I think he's going to be the optimal guy in the captain's position to get as much as we can out of that 1.5 multiplier for his fantasy points. Last week against Tampa Bay saw 10 targets with 9 receptions, as I mentioned earlier. So Travis Kelce in the captain spot. We know we're going to stack him with Patrick Mahomes. And then we're going to try and find some more value here for that Kansas City offense. So we're going to put Isaiah Pacheco in that spot there for $4,800. Saw 11 attempts against the Tampa Bay defense that's been known to stop the run. So we really like that. 63 yards. With that many attempts and that much production on the ground, we only have to assume that he should have at least gotten to the end zone at some point in that game. Just didn't end up happening, but against this Las Vegas Raiders defense, who's been giving up a heavy amount of rushing yards to their opponents, look for Isaiah Pacheco to hopefully break one big run off to really shoot us up that leaderboard for tomorrow night. And then to have some more correlation with this Kansas City Chiefs lineup here, we're going to add the kicker and Matthew Wright. Last week he did pretty well. 2 attempts, 2 field goals made, 12-point fantasy day for you with 5 extra points. So we'll go ahead and add him there. We got a $6,500 price point remaining to add for bring back players for that Raiders offense. We'll go ahead and add Hunter Renfrow back. This is going to be his first game back. Whether or not he'll command the usual targets that he left after being knocked out of that on the last play of the game for the Arizona Cardinals matchup. Hopefully he can get at least 4 or 5 targets and fall into the end zone to pay off that price. And then we'll go with Darren Waller here at $7,200 to use up the rest of that remaining salary. Again, hopefully he can get into the end zone, be a big red zone target that he's capable of being against that Kansas City defense. And then I'll round out that lineup. So we got a Travis Kelce captain spot here with Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, with Matthew Wright, the kicker, to add to that high-scoring offense with Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller being brought back in that matchup. So we'll go ahead and enter that for the daily dollar. See if we can't take down the top prize 2 nights in a row for Showdown. All right, guys. So that was my Monday Night Football Showdown video for the matchup between the Chiefs and the Raiders. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video and drop a comment on who you're going to be playing in the captain spot for Monday Night Football in the Showdown tournaments this week. Thank you guys for watching.